Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show it sounds a little bit dour, and that's because the title is, Ooh, the Well is Running Dry. And that is because there are several harsh aspects among the planets today, and they don't bode well for people who want to take gambles or take chances on anything. In fact, there are actually 6 planets out of the 10 planets that are only in the fixed signs. There are 2 in Taurus and there are 4 in Aquarius. Taurus is a fixed financial sign, but these 6 planets involve all 3 of the malefic planets. And so 2 of them are in Taurus, which rules investments and the New York Stock Exchange. And they are Mars and Uranus in Taurus, and they are squaring 4 planets in Aquarius, and Aquarius rules the future and things ahead of their time, and aviation and space and music and invention and electronics and the internet and computers. And so the 4 planets in Aquarius that are squaring this financial sign of Taurus with these malefic planets in it are the Sun has just entered Aquarius, and there's also Jupiter there, and Saturn, which is the 3rd malefic planet, and also Mercury is in Aquarius. And that is why the well is running dry. By that I mean that there can be sudden fluctuations in the value of your investments. That's because Uranus, which is conjuncting Mars, is a very volatile planet ruling sudden surprising change. Another reason why there can be problems right now is because of the financial uncertainty. Even if you had a lot of money, you may still not be able to accurately project what the future costs of an endeavor or a project are going to be. And this is a terrible time to take a gamble, because the other 2 fixed signs, Leo and Scorpio, are being affected by this harsh square. In other words, the planets in Taurus are opposing Scorpio, which rules funding, and it rules taxes. And if people are out of work and can't pay taxes because they are not earning any money, then that is something that can affect the well running dry. In other words, not having as much tax revenue. But at the same time, Leo is being opposed by those 4 planets in Aquarius, and Leo rules gambling. So this is a time when gambles absolutely do not pay off. And so it simply means that if people can't project the future cost of something, then no one is going to want to commit to it. And that can be hard to live with as well. At the same time, there's another harsh square going on. We've got the 6 in the fixed signs, including all the malefic planets, but there are 3 other planets that are also squaring each other among the cardinal signs. And that is because the moon in Aries, a fire sign, is squaring Venus and Pluto in Capricorn. Now, the moon in Aries has no backup. There aren't any other planets in fire signs, but Venus and Pluto in Capricorn are rather strong because they're trining that Mars and Uranus in Taurus. So this is a time when we may see somebody who wants to come forward and start something new. It could be a woman, because that moon in Aries, the moon rules women, and she could want to start something new, or she could want to rise to a high position and garner all the respect and goodwill that that high position warrants. But the problem is she wants to have everything her own way. She wants to call the shots. She wants to be the boss. In other words, she may not have a good track record of actually working well with others. And so I don't think that's going to work. In fact, I think that a coveted position that she may have been aspiring to would not be coming her way. And that is because that moon is being so strongly squared by both Venus and Pluto, which represent people in high places that you've got to get along with. And they are not sold on a person who just wants to be promoted for their great ideas without having any kind of track record of accomplishment about working with others to achieve good ideas. So that's not going to work. And so that's 9 planets out of all the planets in the heavens that are all squaring or opposing each other. And so that is why, you know, this is not a time for you to take on too much right now. And this is not a time when other people want to take on too much either because they can't have their own way, or simply because, you know, there's really not enough money around, or else people aren't certain that the money's going to be there, so they're not quite willing to commit to something as well. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries. This is a time when I think that you should rest on your laurels, Aries. In other words, don't go charging forward right now with some great hot new idea of your own. Not that you don't have good ideas. It does not seem to be the right time to succeed at them, though, or to be the boss, or to get something all your own way, because that Venus and Pluto in Capricorn, which represents people at the very top in large corporations or government agencies who have built a solid track record of accomplishment of their own, and they do not think that you actually have achieved that on your own merit. And so I don't think that you're going to be able to burst forward right now and get what you want. And another reason why is that your sign has no support. So this is not the time to go too far out on a limb right now, Aries, because somebody could come along and saw that limb off right behind you, and oops, there you would be. So even if you lose some sort of coveted position that you were hoping for, it's better to stay in the game even if you are not active at the moment. Right now I'd count a little bit more on trying to be as safe as you can. That would be a good idea. And protect yourself. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. This is a time when you really need to be careful, Taurus. All of the 4 fixed signs have to. And that is because your sign and Aquarius, Scorpio, and Leo are all fixed signs, and they're sort of getting hammered right now. Particularly your sign, Taurus, and the reason why is that Uranus and Mars, two very volatile and somewhat vicious and aggressive planets, are in your sign, and because yours is a fixed financial sign and does rule investments, you really need to hang on to your money right now, Taurus. I wouldn't commit to any long-term project at the moment. And that is not because you aren't willing to put in the time and the money and the effort. It is because whoever else is coming along for the ride may not be quite as stable and dedicated as you, Taurus. So this is a very good time to step back if you can. And the future is looking uncertain for everyone, even you, because the 4 planets in Aquarius, the Sun, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury, are all squaring your sun sign. And so the future, you know, you can plan your own future, but we have to interact with others, and others can be uncertain, and their uncertainty can make everything else uncertain as well. So hang on to your money right now, Taurus, if you can, and don't take a gamble with anything. Boy, gambles are not going to pay off this year. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. This is a time when you can look forward right now. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can go ahead and commit yourself to something, but you can be all ears right now, Gemini, and want to listen to all kinds of new ideas about the future. And there's a lot of them headed your way, I'm happy to say, because those 4 planets in Aquarius, the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn, are all trining your sun sign, which is wonderful. And that's wonderful because one of them is your ruler, Mercury. And so people can have great ideas about the future. I don't think they're talking about the cost of something, but they're just talking about implementing an idea or developing an idea. And it could be ideas that are ahead of their time. They could be talking about something that could be successful down the road, maybe even way down the road, 3 or 4 years from now. But that could still work out pretty well. Maybe it's something that is going to take a lot of development time. And Saturn is in Aquarius, and it is certainly a planet that doesn't allow people to skip steps. So it's ideal for taking on hard work or trying to develop something and sort of getting over the pitfalls and eventually being very successful. You should listen to ideas like that are long range, because Saturn's going to be trining your sun for 2.5 to 3 years. And you could come out a winner, Gemini. You may have to partner with others in order to do that, but I think it's worth a try. Okay, what does it mean to Cancer? Cancer. This is a time when I think it would pay you to just, lay low. And the reason why is that there are too many people sort of coming at each other and not being willing at all to compromise. And so where does that leave you, Cancer? Well, there's only one planet in a water sign right now, and that is Neptune in Pisces, which is trining your sun. You are a person that knows a lot more about what is going on behind the scenes. And you've known it for a while, but that information, since all the planets are direct right now, that information can be coming out about hidden activities or covert activities behind the scenes. And the more information you learn, Cancer, the better off you'll be in the end. So if I were you, I'd sort of nose around and try to get as many facts verified as possible so that you know what to believe. And these days, we can't depend on just what we hear. You really need the facts to substantiate something. And so you could work a little harder on that if you wanted to, Cancer. Particularly if you have sort of a nose for news, this would be the time to use it. But maybe not to actually commit yourself to anything or spend a lot of money on something. Just sort of nosing around is good enough for right now. And Venus and Pluto in Capricorn are opposing your sun sign. That simply means that there can be a decision at the corporate level or in a government agency that may depend on how much money is available. And remember, I said the well is running dry. And so you may not get a promotion or a position that you're desiring at the moment because the budgets are going to be shrinking a little bit. So just hang on, Cancer, if you can, and enjoy your family. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Leo, this is a time when, oh boy, Leo, you need to walk on eggshells tenderly. And the reason why is that the other fixed signs are empty. You don't have any planets in your sign, and neither does Scorpio, but you're taking, both your sign and Scorpio are absorbing the brunt and the harsh conditions. Remember that a bright future for somebody can be really compromised now or challenged in a lot of different ways, because Uranus and Mars in Taurus are squaring your sun. You need to be real careful with the money right now, Leo, and particularly do not spend any extra money. You should be saving money this year. You are going to need it. You may be needing it due to higher expenses that you feel are worth it. But you got to have some extra money to pay for that too. So this is a good time to save money. And then the real problem for you, Leo, is the 4 planets in Aquarius. They are all opposing your sun sign, and 4 planets is called a stellium. It's just overwhelming force is what it is. And so there are discussions going on about your future, or there are plans that would affect your future, and they may not be positive. Or they could be positive going in a different direction, but not something that is meant to help you in any way, Leo. So you have to be real careful how you move right now. For one reason, it shouldn't cost any money. Don't spend any money right now. You'll just lose it, so don't spend it. And then secondly, since nobody knows what the future projected cost of something will be, nobody is quite willing to commit to it. And that's why even if you're sold on something, there are not going to be enough other people willing to pay their fair share to make it worth your while. And that is why you should step back. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. This is a time when hard-headed people can be knocking heads right now, and that's not the way you work at all, Virgo. In fact, you're sort of a quiet, thorough, analytical person. You like to think about the answers for upcoming problems, and it's generally a Virgo who already has the answer to a problem that other people have not even anticipated yet. Well, that's great, Virgo. Keep up the good work in that area, because that can give you a little edge on whatever can be coming your way. Maybe you have figured out some things that other people haven't even considered yet. And that's good, because there are 4 planets in Earth signs, and they're all trining your sun. Mars and Uranus in Taurus, which are since it's a fixed sign, they're in a little bit of trouble right now, but they're actually just trining your sun, Virgo. They're not hurting you at all. They could make you much more conscious about financial affairs right now, which you should be. And then Venus and Pluto in Capricorn are also trining your sun sign, and that simply means that people in high places who may be considering a promotion or a new job opportunity can be looking very favorably upon you, Virgo. So keep trying to do your best, because I think it's having a good effect. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra. This is a time when you too need to be a little bit careful, because your ruler, Venus, is caught up in a harsh square. And that is because it is in Capricorn along with Pluto, and they are squaring your sun. And the moon in Aries today is opposing your sun sign. That means somewhere in your circle of friends, Libra, somebody wants to have everything their own way, or somebody wants to start something new, or somebody just thinks because it's their idea that everyone should just fall down and listen to it and obey. And so, oddly enough, I think that person is going to perhaps lose a coveted position, or will lose an opportunity that will not come their way because of wanting to do too many things their own way and not in partnership. Whereas Libra, your sign rules partnership. And so I think that somebody may actually try to break away in a relationship from you. And you know, if I were you, I'd let them go. Let them try it. Or else, you know, stop wasting your time with somebody who is not 100% committed to the values that you hold dear. Okay? Libra is very good at compromise. But when you compromise, you lose a little of who you are. And the question is, how much have you lost, Libra? Because somebody feels that there's no room in their world for anybody but them. So don't hang around them anymore, Libra. That's not a good partnership, and you know it. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio. This is a time when, since yours is a fixed sign, you need to be super careful. There are 6 planets, just like with Leo, there are 6 planets squaring and opposing your sun sign. Your sign is a financial sign, though, and it's a fixed financial sign ruling funding. And remember, the title of the show is The Well is Running Dry. And that's true, because if you can't collect the money in, then you have nothing to spend as it goes out. And that's sort of what's happening in the world right now, Scorpio. So you really should hang on to what's yours as well as you can, and protect your possessions, and even sort of lay low a little bit. In other words, if you're wealthy, don't exhibit your wealth. That would be in poor taste. There are too many people that have lost their jobs. Nobody wants to see anybody flaunting their wealth these days, not with so many people out of work. So Scorpio, just lay low, try to keep things together yourself. But if I were you, I would not commit to any future projects. The 4 planets in Aquarius are squaring your sun. Nobody knows what the cost of something in the future is going to be. And part of that reason is because nobody is too sure how a future project would get funded or paid for. And they may be thinking, oh, you can pay for everything. Well, that's not a good idea either, Scorpio. So I wouldn't part with any money right now, particularly not with Mars and Uranus and Taurus opposing your sun sign. So the value of your investments can be falling at this current time. And you just need to sort of rethink something right now and just bring it all into you, Scorpio. You're a very good money manager. So I wouldn't be spending it. I'd be saving it. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Sagittarius. This is a time with that moon in Aries, a fire sign, trining your sun sign, that you may be open to someone else's great new idea. It's just that there aren't enough people that are open to something like that right now. There aren't enough people that can get in and say, okay, let's pay for that, or let's fund that, or let's schedule it. And so starting something new can be very appealing to you, Sagittarius, since that moon in Aries trines your sun. And Aries rules new beginnings. It does not rule endings. It doesn't rule finishing anything. So who would get left holding the bag, Sagittarius? If you think it would be you, then I would say withdraw. And the reason why is that Neptune, which is very strong in Pisces, and it's direct right now, and there's nothing opposing it, it's the only planet in a water sign, is squaring your sun sign, where you have the unlucky south node of the moon. You have to be careful not to get taken in by somebody's sad tale of woe. And so if I were you, I would, stick your nose in a book and just be as quiet as you can right now, Sagittarius, and let everybody else vie for attention. You're very intelligent. You don't need that. You don't need to compete on an intellectual level. You already have a good mind. So why don't you just use it quietly right now and not listen to anybody else? Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Oh, Capricorn. You know, Venus and Pluto are in your sign right now, and they are trining Mars and Uranus in Taurus. Lucky for you, Capricorn, because those are 2 malefic planets. So that means Mars and Venus are trining each other. And that can mean that, Capricorn, you're sort of in a lucky position to know people that are getting along. Not a lot of people are right now, but you would know some that are getting along. And the reason why that you can have something in common with them is that all of you are hard workers. Okay? And so if you have friends that you've known either in your workplace or you have been working with lately, you could be having good feelings about them, and you could be respecting them for their dedicated efforts, and they could be liking you a whole bunch too, because Venus is in your sign. So there is the possibility, even with that moon in Aries squaring your sun, that you could sort of get ahead right now on something rather important, on an investment of some kind, or it can be that you can be thinking out a way to use your own talent to make a little bit more money, and you could do it. And maybe because you find other people that are sort of influential that like you and that will help you out. So this is a good time to expand a little bit, Capricorn, slowly and surely, just the way you like to work. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Aquarius. You really have your mind on the future. There are 4 planets in your sign, Aquarius. So the Sun, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury, the planet of the mind, are all in your sign. Unfortunately, those are the only planets in an air sign, so there isn't anything in Libra and there isn't anything in Gemini, so there's nothing supporting your sign, but your sign is loaded right now, Aquarius. And it is being harshly squared by Mars and Uranus in Taurus. So there is a financial problem that may be sort of out of your hands, Aquarius. In other words, you don't really have any control of it for one reason or another. And it may have something to do with investments, and it could have something to do with the fluctuation in the value of investments. And this can be making you worry about money right now, and I think you should be. But I don't think anything is going to be resolved at the moment, other than people are starting to realize, that the well may be running dry. And that's true. And so this is an excellent time, Aquarius, for you not to be spending any money. Try to save a little bit more money. Even try to cut your overhead or cut your expenses down a little bit so that you can live a little bit more practically or in a more frugal way. That would be a good idea. That way you could absorb some loss in investment income and still not get hurt. So be very careful, because nobody knows really how to make all their future plans be paid for right now. And there's a lot of people that don't care about that either. So if I were you, you could write down some really good ideas, Aquarius, but I would be sort of quiet about them right now. Don't disturb anybody else. It's for your safety. And also, you might have a really great idea, but this is not the time to advertise it. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Pisces. You know, Pisces, you sort of have the best of everything, because there's nothing squaring or opposing your sun sign. There's also nothing supporting it. You have to realize that as well. And that's because your ruler, Neptune, is in your sun sign. And it's direct along with all the other planets right now. So if you are thinking of plans that you want to develop, this is a good time for you to be thinking of that. You would not meet any opposition. There's nothing in Gemini, Virgo, or Sagittarius to stop you or challenge you. But if I were you, since a lot of other people are sort of being hard-headed and coming up against irreconcilable differences that they don't really want to solve at all, if I were you, I'd keep my plans to myself, Pisces. And I think that this is a very productive time for you to sort of work on something creatively. And in order to do that, you have to do it by yourself. And if you try that, I think that you're going to come out with something rather nice. And so if I were you, I would just, allow a little time just to be creative, Pisces, and see what comes out of it. And as I said, nothing's going to oppose you or question you. So a creative project could turn out to have a lot of future potential. There are 4 planets in Aquarius right behind your sun sign. So there's a lot of light in the background of your life. And I think that maybe you should try to develop your own talents right now and concentrate on that instead. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.